Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so the countdown to the 6th anniversary on JP has started, and whilst you guys know I am a global main, I do have a JP account, but I don't think I've logged into it for, I don't know, it might even be close to a year at this point. I think I might have just logged in for the last anniversary and summoned for Gogeta, but anyway, here we are. So I want to do a little bit of content about the upcoming anniversary, because it is obviously the big hype at the moment and global is kind of dead. We got a couple of events coming in a few days, but until then, other than working on the episodes of the Super Battle Road Switch Up series that you guys have recommended, there isn't a huge amount else to do. And this is something that I wanted to cover in a video, because I've talked about it on the podcast before. I just thought it'd be something interesting to go through. So we're going to talk about who the potential side SSRs that will release on the banners are going to be. Because last year, we obviously got the Bardock and Gine on Gogeta's banner, and then the Trunks and Mai on Vegeto's banner. And both of these units are actually really good. Like Bardock and Gine still hold up really well in like the new Movie Bosses Super Battle Road that we just got, Movie Heroes Super Battle Road that we just got on Global. And Trunks and Mai are very solid as well. Both actually decent units for Super Battle Road, but both of these units were sort of on theme. Obviously, the Trunks and Mai fit the Vegeto theme because they come from that specific arc. And then Gogeta, I mean, I guess technically they're from the same movie. But yeah, when you think of Gogeta, you normally think of Fusion more so than Movie Heroes. But the Bardock and Gine were obviously a solid choice. Plus, you know, it was the first representation of our girl Gine in Dokkan. So that was pretty cool. So what are the side units potentially going to be for the two new banners? So we pretty much, like, it's like 99% at this point that the banners are going to be Master UI Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. Assuming they're going to start off in those forms, or at least when they're in their TUR state. I don't know about the summonable SSR version. Be nice if one or both of them started off as Super Saiyan Blue, because then they'd be farmable, but hey. So one thing I wanted to focus on, both of those units are going to be on Realm of Gods, so that team's going to get a massive buff. So the side units, I think it's about time we revisit representatives of Universe 7. Now, obviously on Global, we just recently got a new sub-leader with the Krillin and then the LR Blue Evolution and Blue Kaioken Goku. But obviously bear in mind on JP, those units have been out for quite some time now. So this category hasn't really received an update in a little while. Now obviously the two new LRs are going to be on this category if they are UI Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta. So that already gives this team a massive buff. But there's a couple of units that I think, whilst they'll be in this category, could be very beneficial for other categories as well. Now I'm going to spitball a couple of ideas that I thought of. Some of them are kind of obvious, I think, but just off the top of my head, and what I think they could be good for, because I'm not necessarily suggesting they're going to be all like units that you're just going to put on the representatives of Universe 7 team. In fact, to be honest, you're probably going to be able to, after this anniversary, you're going to almost be able to run a full LR team, because you'll be able to run Goku and Frieza as the leader, UI Goku, Blue Evolution, the two new LRs, and then you could just bring along a support unit, I guess probably MVP 17, and then that team's going to be pretty good. Or I guess you'd probably use Blue Kaioken as the leader and have him on rotation with UI Goku, who knows, but that team going to be pretty busted. But since the celebration and the banners are probably going to be representatives of Universe 7, or at least somewhat Universe Survival Saga themed, there's a couple of different options. So one clear one that people have been asking for quite a while now is a new Master Roshi, because we have the OG Dragon Ball one. He's kind of good, but I feel like he's dropped off a little bit. By the time I rainbowed him, I don't think I ever use him. So Max Power Roshi, there's a massive opening. We literally only have these like lower tier cards and then the barbershop leaders. And since it doesn't look like they're going to be getting easy A's or anything anytime soon, nobody really uses them. So something that would be cool to see is a new Max Power Roshi. Maybe he could start off as normal Master Roshi and then transform. But something I think could be good for him. So if we have a look at him here, he has Over in a Flash, which is good because units like UI Goku, who you're going to be probably always running on a Reps of Universe 7 team if you have him, has that key link. But a big thing that he has is Kamehameha. right? So some of these will change. Like I imagine World Tournament Champion, they would probably change for Tournament of Power. He would have Fierce Battle because he'll awaken from the medals of whichever banner he's on. I assume the Goku banner. Because what I'm going for here is I think this guy should be a Kamehameha support unit. Now you could give him, he could be one of those units that breaks down to 2 categories. So he could give support to representatives of Universe 7 and Kamehameha. So then he would still be useful outside of the reps of Universe 7 team. Because obviously if you just make him a Kamehameha support unit, he's only really supporting the UI Goku. And then I guess Blue Kaioken. So that's a good rotation to run. And when he floats in on the 3rd spot, he'll be providing that bit of extra support to them. But that's kind of it. So I think that would be a good way to do it. Make him a Kamehameha support unit because that category desperately needs it. And then reps of Universe 7 support as the secondary leader skill. And then really anything else they do from him, like in terms of his kit, it could be anything. Like when we first saw the kits for this Bardock and Gine, and the Trunks and Mai one is very similar. Their kit is very based on in certain situations and against certain enemies, they get more and more powerful. Which is a good build. I really like that. But one thing we saw with the Worldwide Celebration was we had the release of the Boo Piccolo and the TN, who are both very solid units whilst also being very, very good support units. And it made those units actually quite hype. Like, I definitely wanted to pull them when I was summoning on that banner. So I think making him a support unit that's going to help support one of the new LRs, and then obviously if he's Tournament of Power or reps of Universe 7 support, he's going to support the rest of the team a little bit as well. So I think that would be pretty good. Moving on to the next one, obviously there's no card for them, there's no disambiguation on the wiki because no such thing exists, but we have a couple of dual cards. Now the first one is Gohan and Piccolo. This is something that people have wanted to see again for a long time, even not necessarily Tournament of Power related, because, you know, all the bad jokes aside about Piccolo being Gohan's dad, they are like an iconic duo, and the fact that we don't have a card of them together properly is, I think, a shame at this point. Now, the big thing to think about when it comes to joined forces cards is you got to be careful who you put together, because we've seen in the past, if you put certain characters together, it really nerfs the card and its ability to function well on teams. The biggest example is the recent addition to Global, the Tech, Golden Frieza and Sorbet. Because Sorbet is on the card, it means they're missing out on a bunch of categories like Wicked Bloodline. They're missing out on a bunch of links because most of the links kind of seem like they're more Sorbet centric. Like when you release a Golden Frieza and Sorbet card and it doesn't link up at all with actual Golden Frieza cards, then I feel like you've made a terrible mistake there somehow. So the good thing about Gohan and Piccolo is obviously they could be on Bond of Master and Student, or Student and Disciple, Master and Disciple. I always get the names confused between what it was originally called on JP and what it's called on Global. But Master and Student Bond, because obviously a lot of Piccolos and Gohans are on that team anyway. So that would be a good one for them. Obviously we saw with the Trunks and Mai and the Bardock and Gine, they have their leader skills that are kind of more centric around the categories that they're on. So it'd be cool for them to be a sub-lead for Master and Student Bond. And then the two of them together I think would be pretty good, because they share some interesting links across some of their units. Like everybody memes about Gaze of Respect being a bad link that the Super Saiyan 2 LR Gohan got, but that is a link that I guess would fit well on these guys. Shocking Speed is kind of a Piccolo and then also Ultimate Gohan common link, so that would be good for them to have as well. And then of course obviously they're going to be on Joined Forces, reps of Universe 7, Universe Survival Saga, but I think by throwing in Master and Student Bond, that's a really big way to have them be good on another category as well, because like I said, it's always difficult when you put two units together. Because the next example is one that I think would be a little bit more janky, is the Gohan and Golden Frieza, well, it'd be Angel Golden Frieza. Obviously from their fight with Dispo, imagine they could have a really cool like super attack animation with the whole like laser cage thing. Like that would be pretty cool. It would definitely be interesting to see this as like a super attack animation. And obviously super attack animations with cards, even if part of it is like shot for shot from the anime, they always kind of throw in little sort of what if scenario type things. So obviously it doesn't have to end the same way it ended in the episode, but the animation for that could be really cool. The only problem with putting them together, of course, going back to that joined forces issue, is they're not going to be on a lot of categories together outside of Reps of Universe 7 and Universe Survival Saga, which is a bit of a shame. But again, like, they would be a card that would be very centric around that team. So if you made their build quite focused on supporting Reps of Universe 7 or Universe Survival Saga, or just make them such a flat out good like attacking unit that they would be a worthwhile choice to bring in the third slot anyway. Because like units like the Bardock and Guinea, even though they don't provide direct support, they have that supporting active skill. So you can run them on your team in the third slot. They're not normally providing support on most rotations, but then when you get that active skill off, that gives you that 2 turns of support. So these guys could have an active skill, even if the active skill was to do with the like laser cage that could give your enemies some sort of status effects, automatic stun or something like that, kind of like the full power Jiren active skill. That could be quite interesting. So the only thing that would affect them, of course, like I say, is the categories. But again, like you could give them links like Shocking Speed. They would obviously have Tournament of Power. There's a few links that you could give them that would make it so they don't fit terribly on teams outside of the Universe Survival Saga and Reps of Universe 7. And then the final one. Now, I was thinking about putting in a Krillin and 18. But again, that very much comes under the issues that we talked about with the joined forces. And I was also thinking about the fact that we already have the AGL Krillin on Reps of Universe 7, who benefits from having an Android 18 named unit in the same turn. So what could be really cool is to actually have Android 17 and 18 together. The only card like that we really have is the, I guess technically we have 2 LRs. We have the free-to-play AGL one and the physical one. But obviously they're from the Future Saga and then the Cell Saga respectively. So having a Tournament of Power version would be really good. And the reason why I think 17 and 18 together would be better than having an 18 and Krillin card, just for the overall like meta of the game, is if we have a look at the Androids category, this category has not seen a buff in quite some time, and this is one of my favorite categories, or at least it has been, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of categories that are better than this one now. I guess technically Angel Cell is the most recent upgrade, or this cell if you're on JP, because they got Awakenings. But if you think of like big ticket units, and Mira got an Awakening as well, we've literally only had recently the Easy A for Super 17, who, you know, he is insanely good. I would still argue he's one of the best Easy A units in the game. Definitely the best Easy A 120 unit, don't at me. And then more recently than that, other than 13, it was like the Int Cell coming out for the worldwide celebration over a year ago in terms of like big ticket units. So we joked about it recently because she just came out on, or got new units and buffs on Legends, but an Easy A for Android 21 would be pretty nice. But that alone is not like a significant buff to this category. So if they do go ahead and add a Android 17 and 18 card from the Tournament of Power, then obviously we're going to see a somewhat similar sort of link set to this. Obviously they would have Fierce Battle because they're not going to be an LR. They would have Tournament of Power, which again, outside of an Android team, that's gonna on the Android team, that's not gonna help them at all. But it means on the Reps of Universe 17, they're gonna fit in perfectly fine. And then again, there's all sorts of things you could do with their kit to make them an interesting option. But I think making it 17 and 18 together rather than 18 and Krillin helps, because then they can be on the Android category. They can have full on Android links. Obviously they're going to be on Siblings Bond as well as Joined Forces and Androids. Universe Survival Saga Tournament of Power going to be very, very good for them. And then they can link up really, really well with this Krillin, because obviously the card will be named 17 and 18. So they could even build their links maybe around them having some of the same links. I guess by the time they're in the Tournament of Power, you could easily argue that 18 and 17 could have experienced fighters as well, which is actually a good link that some other units outside of like various different categories have. So I think that would be pretty cool. So there are just a couple of ideas off the top of my head for side units for the anniversary banner. Like I said, they mostly focus around representatives of Universe 7. Obviously, they could be focused more around Universe Survival Saga. So let me know your ideas down below in the comment section. Or over on Twitter, you can send them to me at TheMaskedNingen. Obviously, you don't have to go full on designing the whole card with all the stats and all that kind of stuff. But just let me know your ideas on who the card would be, maybe what their leader skill would be, and then if you have a cool idea for what their super or their active skill would be, that would be a pretty cool thing to discuss down below. And then, hey, maybe I'll do a follow-up video where I go over some of your guys' entries and ideas if we get enough good ones. So make sure you let me know down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been TheMaskedNingen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the link to my Discord in the description. Feel free to join in the fun over there. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.